Play the b-ball, man, I'm the greatest. I'm shooting in the ball. Come on, get on this thing, the microphone, man. Ring a ding ding. Oh, it's my shorty, bring it at me, my wifey. Singing like a bee through the freaking bee like Muhammad Ali. Chin check, you rearrange the place. Who's running that place? Going to the Himalaya. Man, I see you later, peeling off in the Hellcat. Come on, baby, Mamma Mia, here goes Mario.
Because you know your games with Wario.
Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Sony's been putting their games on PC. And some of them sold more than some, but not moving the needle as much, right?
Not moving the needle. I told you. It's not moving the needle.
Because obviously extra money is extra money. And I remember Jim
it's
Ryan
so funny, man. Ponies, they all talk the same. It's not moving the needle. It's not moving the needle. So what do you think? What do you think is moving, man? Like I said, bro, at the end of the day, if PlayStation decides to remove games, well, they can't remove them. If they no longer continue to put games on PC, well, guess what? That's going to be a lot less money going to PlayStation, and I don't think they can afford that unless they want to focus on making games like gods of 16-bit graphics. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they realize, we don't have to make big budget games. They're gonna buy crap like this, for their PS5 Pro.
Talking about this, a lot of PlayStation fans felt betrayed. Calling Sony a traitor and all this and that, and they're gonna throw their PS4s out over the window. A game company. How dare Sony betray us like this? Not realizing that Sony does not care about your loyalty.
We know that. I don't think any of these companies actually do. They might put up an illusion like they do, but we all know at the end of the day that none, Nintendo, Microsoft, and including PlayStation, can care two craps about what you people think. They cared so much that Nintendo charged you $20 individually for Fire Red and Leaf Green. Okay? And the funny thing is, they pushed a subscription service. They could have had you buy it and still offer it to people through the Game Boy Advance subscription service. They could have gave people two options, but no, they're like, no, you're going to have to pay for this one. That's why we removed Virtual Console. Remember all those Nintendo fanboys telling you, Nintendo can't do Virtual Console on Switch. That's why they can't bring it. And now look at it. They're selling you the same games that were available on Virtual Console that you guys are paying $20 for.
About is money at the end of the day, and while it's better suited for them to put their single player stuff on the PlayStation console only, they chose to do that. And so the report that we're hearing now, multiple reports, is that Sony is pulling away from putting their games on PC. Now
if Sony actually does this, I don't think it's actually going to matter because Sony has already put the games that most Xbox gamers want to play. And the funny thing is, the only reason why you guys want this to happen, so you guys can continue the console war. Because if that new Xbox drops and you're able to access these games through Steam, these ponies know they have nothing. Okay? They know it. So that's why they're out here capping and coping. And I've told you this, games with another W, because that's what they're afraid about. That's what they're honestly afraid of, these games being played on another platform, which they already are. So I don't know why you guys care that much. I mean, if the games are on PC, you can play it through a Steam Deck. You can play it through all these other options through PC gaming. But yet they have a problem with it when it pertains to things like the Steam Machine or the Airbox or the Airbox Walk Ally. It was already done. It's not moving the needle.
Things I want to talk about when it comes to this. It makes perfect sense because when you think about the fact that, Microsoft is getting ready to come out with Magnus real soon. And this thing is going to have Steam. Sony is not going to want that. Sony's not going to want you to be playing PlayStation, single player games on an Xbox console. That would defeat the purpose of people buying.
This is Microsoft's whole plan to get into Sony's market share. See, that's what you guys don't understand. And this is why, right, I keep reiterating this, but this is why Microsoft said everything is an Xbox. You guys don't understand. Nobody's saying that this is an X. You guys are not understanding what they're trying to convey. They're saying that no matter which platform you play on, you're going to be involved in Xbox in some form, some shape, or way. That's what Microsoft is alluding. It's on PC. You're going to be playing our games. It's on Nintendo, even if they push for Nintendo Switch, we'll see how that works. You're going to be playing our games. You buy a PS5, you're buying it to play our games. That's what the whole play anywhere strategy is about. You buy an Amazon Fire Stick, you're going to download our app before Sony decides to do one. Microsoft is already hitting the ground running with this. This is the future of gaming, guys. It's going to get to a point where you're not even going to need a console. It's just going to be a dummy box. And that also applies to PC too. So all you PC gamers thinking, oh, we're comfortable. We got Steam. We're good. Oh, no, they coming for you too. Steam is just the last. The PC is just the last bastion of hope. But you guys are going under too. There are going to be companies that are not going to be willing to put the games through the marketplace and are going to prefer you to stream the game than to own it. You see what I'm saying? Because they know you won't be able to pirate a game that's through a cloud. But you can pirate a game that's downloadable. You can pirate a game where you can download through your PC rig. Now, PC gamer, how are you going to emulate a ROM of a game that's on a cloud? Or like, oh, Snap Games to you, right? How can you do that? How can you emulate something from the cloud? And that is where gaming is going. And they're going to take full ownership away from you. It's going to get to a point where cloud gaming is going to be so good. At least this is what they're predicting. It's going to be so good that you could run these games on a calculator. Okay? No pun intended. Running these games on a calculator and get highly visual quality. I would, like I've told you guys before, I played Ninja Gaiden 4 on my Series X just to see what it was all about. Now, the online was a little iffy, but when it came to playing the single-player game, I don't know if I have good internet or better internet than the average gamer. I'm telling you, it was like I was down playing it natively. I'm being 100% honest. I was hacking and slashing, and you know those type of games, you know, that you could clearly tell if the game's not running well, and it ran pretty well to me. And I did the same thing with the Tony Hawk game when I was finally able to play it. That is very dangerous. Because that also shows you, and on top of it, I did it on the old Xbox One. I played Ninja Gaiden 4 on the Xbox VCR, and it looked and it ran just as good as if I downloaded it natively. People say, oh, that's because you're into internet or not. That is very dangerous territory. Very dangerous. Because what that also means, what is going to be the point of people buying hardware, especially if you're playing single-player games? Now, if in regards to multiplayer, they haven't fully caught up to there yet. But in regards to single player, from my experience, they're very close.
PS5 or PlayStation 6 in the first place. So again, it makes perfect sense for them to do that.
My Lord, thank you.
Why would you want to do that?
Grinding back exclusivity.
Yeah. Why would you? Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to do that? Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Why, if you were Sony right now, would you want your single player games? Would you want your single-player games to be on your rival's platform so that you can turn on Magnus and play Wolverine or play Ghost of Yote? And I knew something was up because with Sons of Sparta, I knew something was up right there. And I said, And Ghost of Yote came out last October. By now, at least, I was hoping that we would hear, something. Makes a whole lot. Make sure that you buy their games to play only on their consoles.
But people ain't doing that. People are buying the PS5 to play games like you have in the background, which is Gears of War Reloaded. That's what they're picking the PS5 up for, bro. They're picking it up for free-to-plays, third-party games, and yes, Xbox games at this point. PlayStation 4 is at the bottom of the totem pole, even on their own platform.
Period. End of story. That's their business model. That's their bread and butter. So this is not out of the realm of Sony saying, yep, we're not putting our single-player games anymore on PC. That's within their own benefit because this is all they're worried about. It's going to drive more sales to their hardware and to their platform and to PlayStation Network and all these kind of things. So it's a win-win for Sony.
But it wasn't a win-win for Xbox. It wasn't a win-win for them. You see what I'm saying? All this to cap for Sony and what they're doing. Oh, it's a win-win for Sony. If you sell the game on PC, then they'll likely be a part of the... First off, let's go off the facts. When Sony tried to do a login, a PSN login for PC for Helldivers 2, did PC gamers reciprocate that very well? Oh no, they chose not to do it. So there's one right there. Second of all, you guys say that well Xbox they put their games on PC. Did that help drive any of those gamers, alleged PC gamers, to the console? Oh, it didn't. You people know this, man. At the end of the day, consoles have a limit because at the end of the day, you got the big three. And like I said, most consoles don't eclipse over 300 million through a generation. I hope you guys understand that. I don't think there's been a console generation that has ever eclipsed 300 million consoles or 320 million. It just hasn't. It's always the same group of gamers. And if you're like, damn, Games, you're right. Gaming hasn't really grown since the PlayStation 1, 2. I think the best that gaming was at one point was it was with the PSP and Game Boy Advances and stuff and the DSs. That was good. That's what kind of really put out the hardware. Mostly for portables, right? And then when you look at what the Wii, that generation was probably the best for these companies. The Wii, the 360, and the PS3, because people was buying those. That was the closest we got to 300,000 for everybody. Okay, everybody included. And then after that, I don't think we've seen that again. I don't think we've seen it again.
Some people would have probably said, well, why take this long? Because these companies like to experiment. You know what I'm saying? These companies, thank you, Bobby Cook. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. You're on fire right now. That knocks us down to 4. You know, it just makes sense. It makes sense. Why would you want Microsoft, your biggest competitor at this point, right, to have access to playing your games?
Well, they're going to have access because they're going to have access to the games that Sony has already put there. What would make a difference if they decide not to put all these other ones? You got to ask yourself, bro. It's
latest games. People are going to be like, bro, what's the point of buying a PS5? Thank you, Bobby Cook. What's the whole point of buying a PS5?
As you see, that's all it is, man. That's all they worried about. And so when they sit there and say, oh, that Xbox PC is dead, they want it to be dead so bad, guys, because they know that if the Xbox PC comes out and you can play PlayStation and you can play Xbox games and you get Game Pass Ultimate and you get good old games and you get Steam and you get all these launchers, they know that Xbox is about to take over. We're about to have another 360 situation all over again. These ponies saying that I'll never buy an Xbox will be the same ponies buying it like they did with the Xbox 360. I'm telling you. Okay? Once Microsoft hits it with the free online, yikes, Sony's going to be in trouble. But like I said, it's all depending on how much it's going to cost. We'll see how that works out for them. But I'm just saying, the projections of what Microsoft could do with their next platform in comparison to what Sony can do with theirs is very obsolete because, like you said, Sony don't want to open up their platform. They don't want to do these things. Microsoft has already been involved with PC emulation for a lot of their titles, backwards compatible. So they're comfortable, okay? And they've been using x86 since the original Xbox. That's why backwards compatibility is so much better on that platform than it is on your own. You get what I'm saying? Sony decided to use it as a late with the PS4 to copy what Xbox is doing, and that's why the PS4 and 5 have compatibility issues with PS3 games.
You know what I mean? What's the whole point of me buying a PS6 if everything's going to be going to another platform? And in this case, think about how wild that would be to play Wolverine on Magnus because it's essentially a PC. So think about that. That is absolute madness.
This is all they worried about.
All said and done. So,
all worried
guys,
about.
I don't know, man, but all I could say is this: that is freaking wild that it took them this long. So,
but you guys knew this, though. You guys have known this from the beginning. You guys have just been capping, claiming that people pick up a PS5 for exclusives. This is all it is, bro. You guys don't want to see this. That's why it's canceled. It's dead. Xbox is dead for the 200,000 times volume 2 million. All right. Like, I mean, at this point, with you guys want it because you see how it can be very detrimental to PlayStation. That's what it is, and they know this. That's why they're scared.
A lot of people had the idea, but yes, it's on my watch where I decided we're going to do this thing.
Third party.
Yeah. A lot of pushback. I mean, there was a time back in PlayStation 1 where
we had
a game called Jet Moto and a game called Warhawk. And the studios wanted to publish them on PC. And at the time, Kudragi-san rightly felt that Sony Computer Entertainment would not be in the PC publishing business. So I actually had...
And look what happened. 30 years later, and what is Sony's doing? That's the funny thing is, Y'all don't remember when those games, there actually was a few games that from PlayStation that did pop up on PC? What do you guys don't understand, man? Sony has always been trying to do this.
To spin that off into another group in order to publish into the PC market, which wasn't really big back then in the late 90s. So it didn't really have a lot of impact, and most people don't remember that happened.
Look at it. Drink that water bottle.
The reason why I thought we should go onto PC, and again...
Third party. Let's hear it again.
Big back then in the late 90s.
Third party. You hear that, dinosaurs? It wasn't big like that back then. So therefore, that's why they didn't do it. But I guarantee you, if it was, they would have done it.
They have a lot of impact, and most people don't remember that happened. But laterally, the reason why I thought we should go onto PC, and again, after a year, once a game's in the market, because once a game's in the market for a year, you can look at the decay rate.
Yeah,
it's not going to cannibalize sales. It's already sold to your console market that wants it. PC was not to make money, not to really generate FOMO so much as it was, I just want to introduce to people who are not in the PlayStation camp, these are the things we're doing. Check it out. It could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
My view was that the PC market wasn't going to come to PlayStation on its own. And for us to tell them the story of what our games are, we have to meet them where they are.
We gotta meet them where they are. Yeah, just look at Marlon's facial expression. Look at that, man. Oh, but Sony, they care about exclusives. They care about it. They care about it. They talk about they meeting them outside by their car, but we gotta meet you where you are. Uber Sony. We gotta meet you where you are.
And if you're on your PC, I will meet you where you are.
And if you're on Xbox, I will meet you. We need a commercial. And if you're on Xbox, we're gonna meet you where you are. And if you're on Nintendo, we're gonna meet you where you are. We're gonna meet you. We're gonna meet you, and we're gonna beat you. You see, because the console war is very important to me.
Not on day one, on day 366. But it was more of a chance just to get IP and the brand out there to an audience which normally we don't have a chance to talk to.
That makes sense. But I imagine when GTA 6 releases, there will be PC players that do have FOMO, and will probably...
Yeah, but that's third party. Yet again, look at it. You see the way he closed his eyes like, oh, goodness, GTA 6 is not even an exclusive, buddy. That's the problem. You're not saying people picking up a PS5 for their games. People are going to pick up anything. They're going to pick up a Series X and S. They're going to pick up a freaking PlayStation 5. Sony don't own GTA 6. He's probably like, see, this is why we got to put our games on Xbox. This is why we got to put our games on Steam, because of people like Mr. Kiwi over here out here don't understand. Look at that. I mean, even his background, he got a Doom poster, bro. Look at that. Where's his PlayStation exclusives? Where they at? This man got a PlayStation symbol, but yet he got a picture of Doom in the back, owned by Microsoft, third party. What do you... Right. That, I told you, that is the average PlayStation fanboy, bro. And they know it.
I'm buying a PS5 just to play it. So...
Yes, there are some titles that can actually change weather patterns.
Yes.
And Grand Theft Auto is a franchise that can change weather patterns. Yeah.
Wow.
We are not Microsoft. We cannot put... It does not make business sense. It goes against our business model for us to put our single-player games day and date with PlayStation Plus. We can't.
In regards to that, yeah, because Sony just don't have the type of budget. They can't make that money back, and it doesn't make sense for them because most of the people that are subscribed to Plus are not subscribed to play their games anyway. They're subscribed to play third parties, so they might as well just sell you the game. So
do that. And I specifically remember telling you guys that, and I specifically remember reporting on that. Right? It doesn't make sense for Sony to do that.
And also, too, with the fact that they can't really get a lot of third-party deals to work with them, Microsoft can because they got the more money. And on top of that, Sony, they take forever to drop out a game. So nobody's going to want to pay for a PlayStation Plus Premium Game Pass equivalent if it takes you 4 or 5 years to get the one game that you want to play on it. But with Xbox, they got, even if it's games from their studios, games from indies, new games, mind you, Hollow Knight, etc., going to their ecosystem because they can afford to pay out of pocket for those. Sony can't, right? And also, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if Sony did do something like that, it's not going to matter because people subscribe to them for third party. So it doesn't really matter. So there's really no reason for Sony to have to do that.
Sony's business model is solely designed for you to pay full price for the game and play it on their consoles.
But people ain't paying full price for the game. That's why Blue Point Studios got closed over, brother.
That's it. Period. End of story. Sony went into that experimental mode where back in 2013, 2012, in that region, let's do this. Let's meet the players where they are. Games that...
he said that with PlayStation 1 they was trying to do it, but the market just wasn't ready for it.
I remember vividly clear what Jim Ryan was saying. Games that really ran their course on the consoles, it's not moving the needle. Moving the needle anymore. We're going to put it on PC.
And when they put them on PC, what do you think that's going to lead to? Ding, 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 ding. Another console, another platform they're going to put it on. Exactly. Because like I've said before, guys, God of War Trilogy. In my opinion, God of War Trilogy will do better on Xbox than it would do on PlayStation. Because you know why? People haven't, well, for some people, I've already played it. They don't have access to the game. You're selling to a market of a group of gamers that never played God of War. Same thing if they put it with Nintendo. I mean, imagine Nintendo would make a killing if they put their arcade archives. People's like, they treat, on Nintendo devices, they treat those games like crap. Those NES and those Super Nintendo games, they treat them like crap. Who cares? So what? Put those games on Xbox for $20 each like you're doing Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green, and Xbox will be giving you money. PlayStation gamers will be giving you money. Oh, well, we getting Pokemon, Game Boy. They can even charge it to y'all for $40 each game. And y'all would be, we getting Pokemon on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox? Because selling it, I mean, they make money even on their own audience. But I'm just saying, you would make way more money. Because guess what? Your fans, right? They're already used to these games. They're already used to them. You're like, damn, games, I see what I'm saying. If you put these classic games on another platform, people will go more crazy. Oh, wow, I can play Link to the Past on my Xbox. Oh, but when they're on Nintendo, you're like, just Link to the Past. Well, it's a good game. It's just Link to the Past. I played it. I played it on my Super Nintendo. I played it here. I played it there. I'm used to it already. I already know all the dungeons. I 100%ed it. Oh, so I guess we got to bring this to a newer audience. Exactly. That's why these things are happening, you dummy.
Right?
How you going to keep selling the same games to the same people? Nintendo just lucky they got a bunch of dummies doing it. They're lucky.
And we're going to see if people, buy. Right? And so I just know that Sony went through that time period to see, hey, if we put this...
This is just coping. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, man. At the end of the day, they're just concerned and worried about the new Xbox PC playing their precious PlayStation 5 exclusives. This is all this is, man. This is coping, man. And when, Sony ain't going to put no more. Sony ain't... Okay, you can keep lying to yourself because I'm telling you, they just because they said something doesn't mean they can go back and rearrange and change things too. Just like when Xbox said only 4 games and we're finding out more games are coming, or how Sony said we'll never put games on PC. Things change, and I guarantee they'll change based off what the market dictates. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, take care. Peace out.